and I'm very happy to be here in this Mumbai in Lucknow MuleSoft meetup group. It's a great honor for me to be presenting here today, and hopefully I can share some insights and bring some interesting topics for you today. So I will just quickly introduce myself. My name is Jose. I am an integration architect and also MuleSoft mentor, and I work at Make Sense Software Services. We are Salesforce partners, and we are based in Australia, but we also have offices in India, in Bangalore, and some other places as well. And I am from Brazil. I live in Australia now. And I've been working with IT for more than 18 years and with MuleSoft since 2018. And I have these certifications here, and the most recent one is the Hyper Automation Specialist I got last year. And recently I've been working a lot with MuleSoft RPA and also MuleSoft IDP. We are sensing a great growth in demand and interest by our clients in hyperautomation recently. These are my contacts. Here you have my email, my LinkedIn account. Please reach out. I'm looking forward to connect with you and know more about your community. I'm a big fan of Jitendra Bhafna. I've read so many articles and videos from him, and I know he's one of the organizers. And I'm not as good as him, but I will try my best today. And yeah, so this is the agenda for today's presentation. We're gonna start briefly just talking about OCR and then IDP, MuleSoft IDP. And then we're going to present a demo about how to integrate MuleSoft IDP and MuleSoft RPA. And then hopefully we can have some time for also the next steps for whoever is interested in learning more about this subject, and also for some questions and answers. However, if you feel like asking a question at any time, feel free to interrupt or send in the chat. I'm not reading the chat, by the way, so if you can just let me know if there is any question. So yeah, if it's okay by you, we can get started when you like.
Yep, we can start.
Okay, so I will just briefly talk about OCR because this is how things started. This has been around a long time now, optical character recognition. So basically, this is a technology where we get an image. And imagine, for example, you have this note here, just a piece of paper saying, "Don't worry, be happy." And you take a photo of it using a camera. So we can see there is a text in it, but for an application, for a system, there is no text, actually. There's just an image. So we need some AI, some machine learning to detect what is the text here. So OCR basically follows a few steps. I will just explain in a very simple way, not getting too much into details, but basically it tries to convert this image to black and white, and then it will try to align the text, reduce, filter out the noise in this image until, and then it detects the patterns of these figures and compares these patterns with the letters in the alphabet until eventually it's able to predict what is written in this image. So this is very interesting, very advanced technology that has been around for a long time. So in the 70s, there were already some OCR devices out there. So today we have some apps, for example, that we can take photos and it will recognize the text in an image, for example, a traffic sign. And we have also some devices like scanners that are OCR enabled, where you can scan a document and get the text out of the image by using OCR. So OCR is basically just extracting from an image or a PDF file a digital text by using AI algorithms and machine learning. So that's basically what OCR is. In MuleSoft RPA, we have in RPA Builder, if there is anyone that's not familiar with MuleSoft RPA, RPA Builder is the software we use to build our automations, in which we have this these tools. So we have these text recognition tools, the OCR tools, where we can use this OCR technology to extract data from images or PDF files. And with OCR, we can get, for example, an invoice like this, and we can extract the text out of it by using this component, the OCR component in RPA. And then you have, so this is something impressive and really interesting, where you see this image where we can extract all the text from it. But if you think about it, it's not that useful, because this is just a big string of text, right? So if you know this is an invoice, we want to extract some data from it. So use the pointer here. Yeah. So for example, we know the amount, the due amount is this. This is the due date, and this is all here in this big string of text, right? But it's really difficult to extract some information here. We would need to use some AI algorithms to find the information we need from here. And this is basically what IDP is. So this is where IDP comes into play. So IDP is when we use the OCR technology, and on top of it, we use more AI to not only extract and recognize the text, but also we use machine learning and natural language processing to actually get the information and extract it as structured data. And we can classify this data, and where we are able to query this this data from this invoice. So when we use IDP, if we have an invoice here that's an image, this can be a JPEG file or a PNG file, or it can be a PDF. We can actually, when we extract the data, we get this. We get structured data. So we get a JSON object out of it. So this is a game changer, right? This is a whole new level if you compare it to OCR, because here you can actually query, you can easily find the information you like, right? So this is something that's really it's really useful, right? And because it's incredible the amount of paperwork that the companies still have, right? If you go to health companies like doctors or health or insurance companies, banks, public services, they have millions of documents that they have to manually process, right? And when we showcase this to some customers, So just recently, we did a demo with a customer where she had to extract data from some work orders that were in PDF files, and then we created a demo for using IDP and RPA. And then in the end, we asked her what she thought about it, and she said, I am in shock because this is just amazing, because I can't believe that this was done so fast, and this takes me hours to do this process, and I've been doing this for years now, and this consumes so much time of my day. So I spend hours every day just going through this PDF documents and copying and pasting um, this data into different systems. So if you think about it, at this day and age, with all the AI that we have, it feels wrong, right? If you go copying and pasting data from hundreds and thousands of PDF files, something feels wrong. So there must be a better way of doing this. That's what the feeling we have today. So the right way of doing this kind of process is using IDP to extract all this information out of these files, and then integrating this and automating this. So in RPA Builder, again, we have this also this document processing um, in a section in our toolbox, where we have these AWS components with which we can actually do some IDP without using the new MuleSoft IDP. So we're going to see that MuleSoft just released a couple months ago the new feature called MuleSoft IDP, which we're going to see in a moment. But before that, we already had this AWS components here in RPA, and we were using it. Actually, we still have some customers using this AWS. So this is AWS AI services that are called Textract and Comprehend. These are AI services that you need to subscribe in AWS, but they are built in MuleSoft RPA. We have these components that are integrated with AWS. And here you can extract data from PDFs and images, and this data will be retrieved as a structured data. So you get JSON object out of it, and it has the ability to discover the meaning, relationships, different type of documents. So this is IDP, but it's not the MuleSoft IDP that we're going to show now. This is just to show you that there is also this option in MuleSoft RPA to do intelligent document processing by using this AWS component. And now we're going to talk about the MuleSoft IDP feature, which is this one, which was built on top of the AWS Textract. So MuleSoft IDP uses behind the scenes, it's still using AWS Textract, but it has many new features and very, very good, very powerful features on top of that. So using this MuleSoft IDP, it gives you many other options and features that you don't have if you just use Textract, right? And we're going to go through these features now in a moment. So MuleSoft IDP is part of what we call the automation bundle. So if you don't see this section here with automation here, if you don't see this, it's because you don't have the automation bundle. And to get this, if you are a Salesforce partner, you can just follow some steps to get entitlement to have this automation bundle. And if you're not a Salesforce partner, then you need to have this license. that includes the automation bundle. So when you have this, you have access to IDP, RPA, Composer. These are all part of the automation bundle. And the way this is priced is and charged is based on automation credits. So when you have the automation bundle, you have a set of automation credits, which will be consumed when you use. So for when you're using RPA, for each minute your bot is working, it will be consuming some of your automation credits. And for each document action that you create in IDP, it will be consuming some automation credits. And but you have when you have the automation bundle, you have a large number of automation credits. And so with MuleSoft IDP, I'm going to show some slides here, but I will go kind of quickly through these slides because I will also show them in the demo. I will show these things in the demo, and I think the slides are kind of boring. I prefer showing this in the live demo, but just going to go through some important concepts here. So when you're working with MuleSoft IDP, you create what we call document actions. So document actions are pre-trained AI models, and we have this pre-existing models that you can choose for invoices and purchase orders. So you also have the generic one if you want to create your own model. So when you create a document action, then you have this multi-step process in which you can scan documents and you can filter out the information you need, and you get the data as structured JSON object. So I will show this with more details in a moment. And this is something important also. You have integration with Salesforce Einstein, which means you can use AI prompts to look for information that you don't have out of the box in the AI model. So let's say I will show an example in the demo where we don't have an information, so we will use an AI prompt to look for that information. So this is using natural language processing, right, to create some AI prompts using Salesforce Einstein. You also have review workflow, and you can define the confidence threshold, and so this is the confidence level for each field that you extract of your document. You can define a confidence threshold. So if IDP calculates that the confidence is below the threshold, then the document will be sent to these review tasks. So here you will have a list of all the documents that have at least one field that was below the threshold. And this is very interesting because this makes it very easy for the business users to do the review workflow and actually fix the information that's not correct. And I will show also this in the demo. So this is the kind of things that you wouldn't have if you're using just Amazon text extract in that component I showed before. You wouldn't have this kind of review workflow, for example. And this is also something very, very powerful, that when you publish a document action to Exchange, it becomes a REST API. And this REST API can then be used in anywhere you like that can consume an API. You can use this in any point platform. In the MuleSoft API, you can use this in Composer. You can use this in Einstein. So when you publish this document action, you will have these two endpoints here: one post document action execution, and then so here's where you send a document to IDP, and IDP so will return execution ID, and then with this execution ID you can retrieve the results of the document action. And we will see how this works in the demo as well. So this is it's a very important part here of the presentation today. Here I just want to take some time to talk about MuleSoft API uh, and versus MuleSoft RPA. So when should you use MuleSoft API, and when we should use MuleSoft RPA, right? Because if you publish this document action to Exchange, then we can import this as a connector in Anypoint Studio, and we will have these two methods here, right? The get document and the post document. And then we can easily, with this, create a flow in MuleSoft in Anypoint Studio, and we can consume this document action. And but we can also do that in RPA Builder, so in an automation. These are the same methods here. We have the retrieve results from MuleSoft IDP. This is the get method here, and we have the submit document to MuleSoft IDP, which is our post method. So when should you use one, and when should you use the other? So we follow a concept called API first. So that means that whenever you can use an API, you should use an API, because the APIs will almost always be easier to implement, easier to maintain, and it will be more robust and reliable most of the times than the automation. So if we can use the API, we should always, that's the rule of the thumb, you should always use an API. So when should we use the automation then? So the answer is you should only use the automation when this is not possible for some reason. For example, some use cases that we had. So this client has to extract the data from this PDF document, and then they need to send this information to a system that they don't own the database, and it's a legacy system that doesn't have an API. So the only way to send data to this system is through a website. And you need to log in the website and fill in a form, and then go next, and submit. And that's the only way we can integrate with this system, because it's a legacy system. So in that case, there was no other option than to use an RPA bot. So the RPA bot will do everything as a human would do. It would um, open the browser, sign in the website, and then navigate to the form, enter the text boxes, the drop downs, and click the buttons, and just like a human would do, but it was done by a bot. So today's demo, which I will start in a moment, it's integration with using this one in the bottom. But I just wanted to make sure that this you should only use this when there's there's not an option of using a MuleSoft API. Is there any questions so far?
Yes, Jose. So Manisha is asking, reviewers will do review process manually.
Sorry, can you repeat it? You broke a little bit.
Just a second.
Josh, Manisha is asking, a reviewer will do review process manually.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the review process is manual, and in the demo, I will show the review process. Yes, yes, because that's when the IDP, the automation, is not confident enough, and so for having more so consistency and reliability, right? Because if we are not confident, if IDP is not confident enough, then we need a human to do this review. Um, so we had a client recently that had an automation. This was for a financial company, like that they did some asset allocation. So they did some investment in the stock market, and the bot had to invest some money in stocks, and sometimes it would have to invest like $1 million, for example. So if the bot is not confident that the information is right, then how would you go ahead and execute an automation like that if the confidence level is not high? So in that case, we would need to do like 99% confidence level that otherwise we would never invest $1 million in something. Right. So just an example that sometimes you need a human in the loop. You cannot delegate everything to a bot because some documents they can be like images, they can be um, and these images can be blurry sometimes. You have sometimes very poor quality in these images. So for being so this review process is meant to be manual, so you have some peace of mind that you're not executing things that you're not confident enough.
Jose, we have one more question by Sahil. How will RPA know that the IDP process document needs to be manually reviewed? And how will it know that manual review is done and it can be processed further with other tasks?
That's a great question, actually, and I will show you how in the demo that, but that's actually something that's still a limitation and that's an improvement that I think MuleSoft IDP should have in the future. But just to give you more context, I will start the demo, and when we get to that part of this question, this is a great question, by the way, I will go back to it.
I think we are clear. We don't have any questions right now.
Okay, so I will go back to that question. That's a very interesting question. So I will start the demo now, and first I will explain what this demo use case is. So basically, I have in my system, I have this folder called IDP demo. Inside this folder, I have another folder called invoices, and here I have also an Excel spreadsheet file called invoices. And inside this folder, I have 4 or 5 PDF files, so PDF invoices here. And then I will use RPA to iterate over all of these files that are inside this folder. And then I will send these documents to IDP. IDP will return the structured data, and then we will use that to populate an Excel spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet. So this is a very simple use case in a real world use case, you will probably do something more elaborate here with this data that you extract from the documents. But just to keep things simple, I will just write this information in an Excel file. So let's start the demo. So I will start by going to MuleSoft IDP. So this is MuleSoft IDP. Here I have some document actions. If I wanted to create a new one, I would go here, and here you can select the AI model, invoices, purchase orders. I will use one that I already have here, which is this IDP automation V1. And if I go here to the edit mode, this is the document action editor. Here I have a schema of in the configuration panel. Here I have a schema of fields that are standard fields for an invoice, because this is the invoice type. So I have selected only 5 fields, so I can omit or include these fields by clicking in this eye icon here, and I can upload a file here from my invoices to test this a little bit. So I will just upload one of these. So this is an invoice, and if I click here and run, I can use this to test IDP in this user interface. So this is something that if you're using text extract, you would need a developer to do this. In MuleSoft IDP, the business can test the tool by using this interface here. And as you can see here, it extracted all of these fields. I have only 5 fields that I have selected. And if I click here in this icon, it will highlight in the document where it got this information from. So, and here, if I click in this row for total, it will show me that it was 99.99% confident that this was correct, and my threshold was 80%, right? So I can add more fields here if I want. And what's really interesting about this, I find this really interesting, is that, for example, if I select this is the zip code, right? This is the zip code, and I have here zip code somewhere. So this is the zip code, right? So it was able to extract this, but nowhere in the file here, if you think about it, nowhere it's saying this is a zip code. There's no label here this saying this is a zip code. But because it's using artificial intelligence, it knows this is the zip code. So this is really something really incredible, because how would you know, just by looking at if you were using just OCR, for example, how would you find the zip code inside a string of text? So this AI that's used in IDP is really, really amazing. And here also we have something really powerful, which are the prompts. So here in Australia, we have something called the ABN. The ABN is Australian business number. So because this is something specific here in Australia, in the US is something, it's called a different name. It was not able to find in the standard fields. So I had to create a prompt here to look for the ABN. So this is how I create a prompt. It's just like using ChatGPT, for example, just uh, just asking a question. So what is the ABN? And I've noticed that some invoices have different name, like A dot B dot N dot. So I can I can create a question like what is the ABN, or this slightly different variation here, and then it was able to find this here. So this is something really powerful, because this is like if you get a pre-trained model out of the box for invoices, which will find most of the things you need, but there might be some fields that you don't get from this pre-trained model, and then you can use the prompts to create your own fields, and you can ask questions like this. For example, here we have the due date, but I've noticed that some invoices, they have something slightly different. They have invoice date instead of due date, and some invoices even have just date. So I created a prompt here asking what is the invoice date. If not found, what is the date? So in this case, it didn't find anything, but because we have the due date here. But if we didn't get this, then I could still use this other option here. So this is how you can refine and enhance and customize this pre-trained model. And I will also show a very interesting example here before we go to MuleSoft RPA, which is this invoice here. So this is an invoice that's using it has handwritten text. This is my handwriting, by the way. And as you can see, it's really bad. And I think that if IDP is able to to uh, extract my handwriting, then it's probably good, very good, right? And then, so here we have this table here, this grid, where you have tabular data, right? So here we have only one product here. As you can see, this is very bad handwriting. And if you don't understand, this is saying chocolate bars. And so we also have these tables here. So this is for tabular data like this. So if I run this again with this invoice here, you're going to see something really impressive. So if you click here in the price, so down here you will see all the tabular data from this, and here, as you can see, it was able to read chocolate bars here with 99.99 confidence. So this is really good. This is really good. I can, if it's able to read my handwriting, this is really, I can tell you for sure this is really good. So these are the examples I was going to show you here in IDP. And then here I added myself as a reviewer. And here's where we can publish this. And if we publish, I already published this, I will not publish again, but I will show you in Exchange. So this, when it gets published to Exchange, it becomes a REST API that we can use. And here are the endpoints I was talking about. So this is the post document, and in the execution ID, under execution ID resource, we have the get document action. And here you will get the structured data, the JSON object with all the information. So, for example, here you have the prompt here. This is the due date from the prompt. Here are the invoice number, all of the fields that are created here. So this is the response that we will get from this REST API. So now let's go to MuleSoft RPA, where I have here an example. So this is the toolbox here, where you have the IDP components here. And we have just two tasks here for this demo. We have the submit documents and the retrieve results. So let me show you how I implemented this, and then we will run it. So basically in this step, we have these files here, right? So this is the IDP demo folder, and we have this invoice. Let me just check if it's empty. Yeah, so it's empty now. There isn't anything here. Let's also make sure there isn't any document under review here. Let's go to the review tasks. So the review, that we have no review tasks pending at this point. So let me just close this file. And so in this first task here, the submit document, what I will do is I will iterate over that folder, over all files in that folder. And basically I will submit each document to MuleSoft IDP. So this is the submit document to MuleSoft IDP component. Here we select the document action that we created in MuleSoft IDP. We select the directory path, the file name, and here we have the connected app credentials. This is how we are able to connect MuleSoft RPA to MuleSoft IDP. So basically, you need, so I have this IDP activity parameter. So let me show you here in the activity parameters. This is connected app credentials that I create here, which will have this client ID and client secret that you need to generate in any point platform by going in access management and connected apps, and then creating connected app with the IDP scope. And then once you have these credentials, you can then connect to MuleSoft IDP, and here you will see all of your document actions here. Okay, so once we submit the document to MuleSoft IDP, we will immediately get an execution ID as a response. And so what we will do is we will just save this execution ID in an Excel file. So here I create an Excel session where we will basically write in 4 columns. We will write the item number, this is just the iteration number, the file name, and this is the execution ID. So I can use this write to Excel component where I just say I will write in the column C, and in this row, which is the row number, it's a variable that I created. In this cell, I will write the execution ID. So I will go into this all of these files, and for each file I will increment this row number, and then we will write, we have in this folder we have 5 documents, so we should get 5 rows. And the results are just the submit documents to MuleSoft IDP has 2 outputs, the execution ID and this success, which can be true or false. So I will write only these 4 columns, and if I click here in this run process, it will run the whole automation. But if I click here, this will run only this first workflow, this first task here. So I will click here. So we run this in 2 steps separately. So you will see a message box here just saying the iteration number. So this will just show which file it's being processed, and this is all we were going to see. And then in the end we should see this 4 results in the Excel. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. So the automation is running in my local environment. So here you can see number of files 1. This is just the iteration number. Number 2. Number 3. So 3 documents were already sent to MuleSoft IDP. This is just one way of doing it. There's other ways. You can also do this loop in an API, for example, and then have the automation just doing one by one. There are different approaches of doing this. And this is just one example. But in this approach, we send all of them to MuleSoft IDP, and we just get the execution ID. So let's take a look at the Excel file and see what we got here. So we got here the iteration number, we got the file name, the execution ID, and all of them got successful true. Okay, so the first step was successful. So all of these documents were sent to MuleSoft IDP, but we don't have the results yet. So I will close this file, and then I will execute the second part here, the second task. So in this task, let me expand this a little bit. Let me just close everything so it gets easier to see. So here we have an Excel session. So for each execution ID we have, we will send this to MuleSoft IDP using the retrieve results from MuleSoft IDP. But first, we need to get the execution ID from the Excel file. So we create a loop in the Excel file, and we are doing this loop starting in 1 and going to number of files. So the number of files will come from the first task, right? But because I'm going to run only this one, it will come from the activity parameters. This is kind of a default value. So I have number 5 here. So that's why it will work. But normally we would run this end to end. It will run this one. It will have the number of files 5. And then it will go here, and we will iterate over all the files, all the rows that were written in the Excel file. So for each file, we will get the execution ID in column C using this read from Excel component, and then we will send this to MuleSoft IDP. But because MuleSoft IDP takes some time to execute, to extract data, sometimes we can get a status in progress. So that means that if you're trying to get the results, but the results are not ready, then you need to wait a little bit. So I created a retry mechanism here by using a loop. So this is a loop component that is looping from 1 to 3. So we're going to retry. This is similar to an until successful scope in MuleSoft. If you're familiar with MuleSoft implementations. So here we added a managed block. A managed block is like a try catch finally in programming, right? So we have this do action, we have on error, and we have do always. And so we're doing this to create a retry mechanism if we get the in progress status. So it will go here to this do action, and it will use this retrieve results from MuleSoft IDP component here. So let's take a look at this. This is where we use this document action, and here we are sending the execution ID. So we have the execution ID we read from the Excel spreadsheet. So with that ID, we sent this and we ask MuleSoft IDP for the result, right? So here we have a select case, and in case we have the in progress status, then we need to wait for a while. So here I added so a sleep function here that will pause this automation for 15 seconds, and then we will force the error state. Because we forced the error state, the process will go here to on error, and on the on error, we just force the OK state. So this will make the process go out of this iteration in this loop, and it will go to the second iteration. It will go to the second iteration in this loop, and then it will try again to retrieve the results from MuleSoft IDP. And chances are that because we waited for some time here, in the second time, it will probably be over. So we will get a succeeded state or a failure, but we will probably not get in progress anymore. So this is how we can simulate a retry mechanism until successful in RPA. And then in the do else, so if it's not in progress, then we just read all the information we got. So from that MuleSoft IDP function, we will get as a result, we will get a JSON object, right? So the first thing we do is we write the status in the column. So in column E, we will have the status of this extraction. It could be succeeded, it can be failed, or it can be manual review required. So that means some field got under the confidence threshold. So we're going to save this status here in this column, and then we are going to get all of these fields one by one by using the JSON query here. So here we write JSON path expression to retrieve this information from the JSON object. that's coming from IDP. And we need to do this inside a managed block, because if this is not found in this expression, this will throw an error. So we need to handle this error. So here in the on error, we can set a default value, for example, 0 to the invoice number. That means it was not found. In some cases, we can use, like for the due date, I created the prompt field. So if we don't get the due date from the invoice, then we can get the one that's coming from the prompt. So I have this p underscore due date. So you can it's important to use this error handlers here. Otherwise, it would throw an error, and then it will go to another retry. But we don't want to retry if it fails here. We just want to retry if it's in progress. So we need an individual error handler for each. Actually, for everything you do inside this. And finally here, so we'll do this for all the fields we want to extract. And then we just reset the variable so we don't carry these values for the next iteration. And then if we get here to this stage, we can break out of the loop. So we will break out of the retry loop. Right, so I will run this. So I will run only this task here. Just let me make sure the Excel file is not open. It's not open. Let me just minimize everything. I think this one also. Okay. Okay, so I will run only this step here. So this is the first try for the first document. And we got the status succeeded. And it broke out of the loop because we don't need to retry. So for the second document, we got the manual review required status. Manual validation required. Okay, so the automation completed. So let's take a look at the Excel file now. Okay, so here we have the status. So two of these documents got manual validation required. And here you can see all the information from MuleSoft IDP. So we got all the invoices number, the due dates, the customer name, the amount, the ABN. This one didn't have an ABN, so we just set this to 0. And so, but there are two documents that got this status, so they should be now in the review tasks in MuleSoft IDP. So let's go to MuleSoft IDP. So here we have the two documents that failed. So this is something really great for that we can offer to our clients, because it makes it really easy for them to review these documents that got didn't get a good confidence level for some fields. So this one, for example, got the ABN with only 51%. But if we see here, if we check in the invoice, it was actually correct. So the number is right. But for some reason, IDP was not confident. So if we realize that every time we have 51%, but every time is getting the correct value, then we can adjust this. We can say, oh, 51% is actually very good for this in this case. If it's not something that's extremely critical, then you can adjust this so you don't get these documents under for review all the time. But let's imagine that this was not correct. Let's imagine that this ABN number was wrong. So this review workflow also makes it very easy for the business themselves without help from development. They can fix this just by fixing this data here. So let's imagine this was not 179, but it was 100. And then I will just submit here and done. So this is fixed now. And let's go to the other one. So this one also got under review because the name was only 75.46% confident. Although we can see that it's correct, but it wasn't confident enough. So let's do the same thing. Let's imagine this was wrong. So I can go ahead and fix this here. So I'll put something else. So I can fix this from here. Now let's go back to the question that was done here in the chat. So the question was, once these documents are reviewed, how do we reprocess this? So here's where I think there could be an improvement in IDP. They probably are working in something like that, but I've seen in the Slack channel, Salesforce Slack channel, some people complaining about this as well. But ideally, here we should be able to configure a callback API that we could set here. So we could have another API or automation that would reprocess this once they are reviewed. But we would need something here like a callback API that we could configure that would automatically be triggered when the business user or the reviewer submits this. But currently we don't have that, right? So in this case, what we did for what we proposed for a client is we created just a web page, a simple web page with just a simple button that once they submit a document, they just click in that button, and that will trigger a reprocess automation. So I have here a reprocess automation here in RPA. So let me open it. So I did another automation here, which has only one task here called reprocess. And this one will just iterate over this Excel spreadsheet, and it will look for the status first. So if the status is manual validation required, because we have the execution ID, so it's extremely important that you save this execution ID somewhere. So this can be this ideally would be done using a database, or even better, you can use a message broker. So for each of these executions, you would have a message in you would drop a message in a message broker, and then you can have reliability by just reprocessing this queue, right? So, but in here we saved the execution ID in an Excel file. So I created a simple automation here that just iterates over this Excel file, and it basically looks for the execution ID and also the status. And only if the status is manual validation required, then it will retrieve the results from MuleSoft IDP again. If it's not, then it will just ignore this record. So we will just process these records that have this status here. And then, so let's go ahead and run this automation. Oh, I need to close this. If I don't close the Excel file, then we will get an error. For the first record, we are just ignoring this record because it had the succeeded status. For the second record, this had manual validation required, so it was sent to MuleSoft IDP, but this time we got the succeeded status. The third one was ignored. The fourth one was also ignored. And the fifth one, we are sending to MuleSoft IDP, and we got the succeeded status. So the automation has completed. So now let's take a look at the Excel file. So as you can see, all the status are now succeeded, and these values here for these fields, the name was changed to what we updated in MuleSoft IDP in the review process. So this was also changed here. So this is how the review process works. So did I answer your question about the review process? So I believe that was the question. How do we trigger this once we got this reviewed? How do we know it was reviewed, and how do we know we need to reprocess? Because once we reviewed, okay, it was submitted, it was fixed, but in the back end, in the Excel file, in our case, this was still manual validation required. And here we had the previous value because it was not reprocessed. So we had to manually reprocess this. And we can also, so for now, what we can do is create some kind of option for the business to run this reprocess automation on demand. So whenever the business does a review, they will need to go somewhere, and it can be using Postman, or we can develop a simple web page with just a button and something like that. But I believe that because this product is pretty new, right? So I believe they will do some improvements, and one of these improvements, I think it will be a callback from. So when you submit this, ideally we would need to configure a callback URI that will automatically trigger this reprocess. So is this what was asked, Magnesh?
Yes, Jose, and it does answer the question of the person.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, we have one more question. When it extracts information, can it allow modification on original value like space removal, data format passing, and etc.?
So when we extract the values, we cannot transform this in IDP. We cannot use like expressions here, but we can easily do that in if we create this in a in an API, for example, or in here in the so in MuleSoft RPA, we would need to do the transformation, or in the MuleSoft API. So basically, so if you're using MuleSoft API, for example, this is an until successful, here where we get the document action execution. And here you will get the data, and here is where you will need to do the transformation. There's no way of creating like expressions or transformations in MuleSoft IDP at the moment.
Then we have one more question. How many types of data processing IDP supports?
So the data types are PDFs, and there are three types of image files: JPEG, PNG, and TIFF. I think it's TIFF. Yeah, these are the PDFs also supports, I think, 20 pages. So the response here, as you can see, they come in a page array. So there's a page collection here, and this. So if the fields are inside in multiple pages, it will extract data for each page, and there is a limitation of 20 pages, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it. And then one more question we have. Will IDP, that is the document actions, will be deployed on any point platform? Then how can it decide VCO size? Because think that if document is too big or large and takes more memory to extract fields from it, or it goes to other platform behind the scene like AWS.
Yes, it goes to, you don't have this, you cannot configure the number of vCores. It will go to AWS, and that's it has I think an auto scale number of the memory. It will auto scale, and you don't have access to that configuration. It's just done by default.
Got it. And then one more user is asking if possible you could share the RPA codes that you just demoed right now.
Yes, actually, I have here a video where I show this in detail. So let me go here. So these are the next steps. Here there's a QR code, and here I have the exact same demo I did here, but with more details, where you can see I show each component there, and I can also send you, if you want, I can send you the source code, because MuleSoft RPA doesn't have a source code, so we cannot have like a GitHub. That's something I don't like about RPA, is that you cannot you don't have like a source code like in GitHub or something like that. But we can export the whole code, and then I can send these, and you can just import in your MuleSoft RPA. So take a look at this video. Here you can just follow step by step, and you should be able to create the same example just by looking at this video. If it's not enough, then I can send you the exported code.
I do have a question on this. So basically, if suppose when working for large enterprises, in that scenario, if you think about, there are so many sales executives and they upload so many documents, and now we want to extract key information from those documents.
Mhm.
So in that scenario, if suppose out of 10, two document goes for a manual review, then now if you think about this from a day-to-day perspective, wouldn't there be a backlog of documents where person has to manually review? As well as when we think about an synchronous process, which means that if we initiate a business process and it has to be completed in that same amount of time, right? In that scenario, if a task is there in a review process, then how suitable it would be?
Well, if you think if you think about it, yeah, it will. You will still have some manual work, but in my opinion, this is a good thing to have because, as I said before, um, if you're dealing with sensible and critical information, I think this confidence level is something really good because you will always get some issues here. If you're dealing with hundreds and thousands of PDFs, some of these PDFs will be corrupted. It will be too big. So the document will be too big and will not be supported, or it can be an image, and this image can be completely blurry, and you will get all kind of things. And if you don't have a review process, and this can only be done manually, otherwise how can you be confident that this is consistent and this is reliable? I think having this, and if you're getting too many documents in the review, oh, this got 75%. The name was 75% confident, but it was correct, right? But if all the time you're getting these documents under review and all the time they are correct, then you can just lower the confidence level because you know that 75% is actually pretty good. So I think you will. What we do is we start with a very high confidence level, and then we start lowering it a little bit until we know that if it gets under that threshold, it's because it's most likely it has a problem. And if it has a problem, you will need a human. My opinion is that automation, this automation will, um, it will, this kind of automation will take away many jobs, right? Some people that their job is only to go through these PDF files and extract data from it. And then, but if you're talking about a 100% automated process, then we don't need humans anymore. Let's just do the robots do everything, and I don't think that's good. I think it's good to leave somewhere, at least somewhere for humans. Otherwise, we will run out of jobs. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is that um, my opinion is that you still need a human in the loop. You cannot automate everything. That's my opinion.
One more question over here. While the spotlight still remains on data extraction, but IDP too has this prompt kind of thing. So how can a person use this prompt feature in, in their processes?
Yes, this is very, very good question. I think this prompt, it has a lot of it has a lot of use use cases that you can explore. For example, here we still have only invoices and purchase orders, but we've been working with many other different kind of uh, document types like work orders or referrals for doctors, medical certificates. That there are all kinds of document types. So what we do is we use a generic one, and then we use the artificial intelligence that we use this very powerful the prompt to create what we call a custom AI model. And then it's like if we are creating our own AI model and we are training it. So by creating prompts, sometimes the prompts don't work the first time. Then you refine the prompt, and in the prompt you can use the or. So what is this or that, and then you just refine it. And so this is something very powerful. It allows us to create our own AI models.
Got it. So there's just one more question that we got from Anisha. For generic documents, does IDP support uploading our custom schema to define the fields, or can we create the fields of interest from the UI?
No, we cannot create the fields. So when we see here, I mean, we can by using the prompts, right? But because this these are the predefined fields, right? So I cannot add any new field from here, but I can add fields here in the prompts. So this is how you add new fields here by creating prompts, and each prompt will be a custom field. So if you're dealing with a document type that's very specific, probably you'll be using many prompts here, and you end up creating like your own schema.
That's all the question we had till now. Yeah, we can proceed further. I think that's all the question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll just wrap up this presentation here. I have just a few things to show you. So, whoever is interested in learning more, there is a MuleSoft IDP course in Trailhead. It's, I think, very basic. I think they will probably release on a more advanced course. But MuleSoft IDP, I think it's pretty straightforward. I would like to see more about the AI capabilities, like what kind of prompts we can create. Well, so I think this is still very basic. I think they could probably release. They will probably release a more advanced course at some point. For MuleSoft RPA, we have much more resources here. We have all this trail mixes. We have videos. Um, we have we have also the MuleSoft training for RPA, which was in the MuleSoft platform. Now it migrated to Trailhead, and I think it's not here in this slide, but we have the MuleSoft training. And this is the video I was talking about. So here you can see the demo I did with more details. And this is so if you if you want to work with IDP and RPA, this is the learning path. And if you get the hyper automation specialist certification, that will give you um, all the foundation you need to work with all the different hyper automation tools that we have, not only RP, but also Composer, flow orchestration, and all of that. So if you're interested in automation, it's this is recommended to try to get this this certificate. And yeah, that's it. I would like to thank Make Sense for providing the environment for running this demo today. And would also, we already did the questions, so I would also like to thank all of you to attending to this meetup. I hope I brought some useful information for you. And I would also like to know your opinion about what do you think about MuleSoft IDP? What did you think? If you didn't know about too much about MuleSoft IDP, what was your impression about it? I would also like to know that about you.
Well, I will
Awesome.
just, I'll say for the record, it was fantastic. So well done, and excited to go to that link and also see more in more depth. So very nice work.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think IDP we've been having so many customers coming and asking about this, and whenever we showcase this, we make a POC or a demo, they get really impressed. So it's something that it will, if it will help you to get projects and customers, and when they see this kind of automation, it's something that they really like, and it will so I think it's really good for MuleSoft developers and architects to get these skills so they can offer this to their customers.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And pity the poor person that has to go do those tasks. Like you said, the client that you were working with said, I've been doing this for how many years, and now it's nearly unbelievable. But yet I agree with you completely as well, in regards to the human intervention, human in the loop, for being able to, I'm certain it'll be there for compliance anyway in most industries, but at the same time, if there's any doubts, there would be that monitoring and focus. So excellent.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad I was here to see all this.
Thanks. Yeah, and I was talking to one of these customers that when she saw this, she said, um, I really want to have this because I cannot stand this work anymore. Because I mean, it's copying and pasting text from a PDF file. That's it's very exhaustive and boring. I mean, even though you can argue that, oh, you're doing this, or you're automating things, you're taking away people's job, but this is a kind of job that no one's like to do, right? So I think humans should do more interesting things. So if someone is spending 5 or 6 hours every day just dealing with PDF documents, just copying and pasting, this is not something that I think anyone would like to do. And even this customer I was talking about, she said, please do this automation, implement this automation, because I cannot stand doing this. And she was really happy with the results. And not only that, but she said, whenever I copy and paste this this data here. It's something that if whenever I make a mistake, I get all sorts of problems because I make, so I hate doing mistakes, but every once in a while I do a mistake and I have all sorts of problems. So and she said, so because of that, I I copy and paste all of these fields and I have to double check or sometimes triple check everything because I cannot make any mistakes. And if you're dealing with hundreds and thousands of documents, you will do a mistake because we are error prone. We cannot copy and paste thousands of fields without missing one or copying in the wrong place. That will always happen. So if you think about the time that the companies will so the productivity that this brings to companies, something really amazing. So these processes can improve, like it can run like 90% faster than it was running on a manual process, and with less errors.
Excellent. Agree. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it is true. So that us humans can be doing more productive things, and my garden is now done. So see,
Yeah,
I often
yeah.
say let the humans do the human related things, and will allow the bots with intervention to manage the mundane tasks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the future. I
Uh,
think in the future we will not have humans doing this kind of work.
I think we are well over time. This is already very late night at your end, and thank you for speaking and sharing your knowledge with the wider MuleSoft community. I'll upload this video shortly on the YouTube channel and share it all with you. As well as I would also upload the PDF or the PPT on the community page. Yeah, that's all. Thank you all for joining, and thank
Thank you.
you, Jose, for speaking.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
thank you very much. It was my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Jose,
Thank
and
you.
thank you everyone for connecting. Like it was really wonderful, and it's a hot topic now. So if the more we get the knowledge about it, the more we can conquer it. So thank you so much, Jose, and thank you everyone for joining over here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.